It's the end of the year. So everybody has their favorite moments, their favorite this, their favorite that. But guess what? We're all entitled because at the end of the day, it's our list. So now sit back. I'm going to give you my top 10 moments from 2018.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this very special edition of Break It Down with Brian H. The very last episode that will premiere in the year 2018. It is New Year's Eve if you're listening to this show as it premieres. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. So before we get into it, let's go over the particulars. So make sure you are subscribed to the Wrestling Realm. Make sure you subscribe to the Wrestling Realm on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course Podbean. Follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Realm. Follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Realm. And of course, like the Facebook fan page. And as you are doing all that, make sure you are liking my pages as well, Brian H. Waters, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Brian H. Waters. So, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I listed my top 10 moments from this year. So what does that mean? Those are moments that stuck out to me in wrestling. When I sit back, it's not necessarily the greatest moments because that's always subjective anyway. So if everything's going to be subjective, go all the way subjective. Go ahead and make it your list. That's what I tell everybody. So I'm going to give you my list. I invite you to chime in. I invite you to drop your list. Drop me your top 10 moments. I'll be, in the first episode, I'll, give you a shout out and talk about them. But that's what I want to see. I want to see what's your top 10 moments. I'm giving you mine. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 10. Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So this was a match that got very personal. And it was so personal, we have seen this rivalry take place throughout the entire year. I mean, it actually started in 2017. What made this great was that now we have the NXT Championship on the line. If you remember, this was supposed to be a triple threat match with Aleister Black. However, when I saw this, to me, it reminded me a lot of CM Punk. When the match was made, CM Punk versus John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. Yeah, we know Del Rio won that match, I believe, but lost in the shuffle. So this right here, and God, unfortunately, Aleister Black got hurt, but it was great for us wrestling fans. Let's be real, because we got a one-on-one match, a very personal match, and it was a last man standing match of that, and it was just Tommaso Ciampa somehow, some way pulling off the victory. And we did see Gargano take a heel turn for the worse, which it just goes to show you, that the nice guys always finish last, and eventually nice guys get tired of finishing last. So this was a great rivalry. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, Tommaso Ciampa's had the best year. Talked to my boy, the Shark. He's going to be dropping his. Well, he probably dropped it by now. Like I said, this is taped. But guess what? It's airing. So happy New Year's Eve. Be careful out there. If you're going out tonight, making sure you drink and do not drive. So what I'm saying is, do not drink and drive. And I said making sure you drink. If you're going to drink, make sure you do not drive tonight. But yeah, Shark, been a huge fan of Ciampa since Ring of Honor, and we was talking about it, and like he was saying, the best year for anyone in NXT in 2018. He was undoubtedly the top heel in the business. I mean, in a day and age where it's so cool to boo to cheer the bad guy, where it's so cool to take the guy you're supposed to be booing and buying his merchandise. That wasn't happening with Ciampa. He was getting heat. So that is why this came in number 10. I was happy. So let's move on. If you know me, and if you know me, then you know that in March, it was one of the greatest days, and that is when Daniel Bryan was cleared to wrestle. I remember my phone going off, getting a lot of text messages saying, "You said so. You said it would happen." Yeah, I kept the faith. But what a moment this was. We did see him go into WrestleMania to team with Shane McMahon to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then afterwards, he would let it be known that his last move as GM was removing, trading The Miz to SmackDown so he could punch him in the face because he didn't forget all of the things The Miz said. So, but this was an incredible moment, incredible night. And if you remember, on this night is when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens beat him up. And a lot of people saying it was, hoping like, oh, man, he's getting beat up. Let's hope we don't get hurt again. But this just goes to show you that you don't always have to take the doctor's word for gold, get second, third opinions. So shout out to Daniel Bryan getting cleared. So let's move on. So this next one, a little bit personal to me, and that is Mia Yim goes to NXT. So people may say, oh, why is this such a big deal? No, yes, this is a big deal. To me, somebody I watched, somebody I've actually spent time with outside of the wrestling business to see her achieve her dream, not only in the Mae Young Classic, but to get a full contract, to see people cheering for her and asking Triple H to please sign her. That was awesome. It was incredible. And I'm just excited to see where her career goes. We saw a match with Bianca Belair. We saw her qualify for the Fatal 4-Way match to get an opportunity at the NXT Women's Championship. Unfortunately, she didn't win that match. But guess what? I mean, and that's me speaking from a kayfabe point, as but being able to see somebody who I watch work hard, bust their tail, achieve their dreams, and had the opportunity to work with on numerous occasions, including she was one of the first interviews I did when I got into the wrestling business. So shout out to Mia Yim. That is her getting signed is on my top 10 for this year. Let's move on to New Japan. Kenny Omega winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. A lot of people aren't satisfied with his title reign. I haven't been keeping up with it. It's probably, I will say, maybe it's lackluster. However, the business is kind of changing, and has his title reign been that bad, or has the players around New Japan and the other ones been that much better? Who knows? I don't know, but I will say that the night he won the title, or the morning, winning a match, him and Okada, another 10-star, 20-star match. One of the longest matches I've ever watched, but I was not bored with it. I was entertained. They found a way to keep me entertained, and that's why this had to make the list. If you haven't seen it, if you've been living under a rock, I encourage you to go check it out. And like I said, it was an incredible match. So that is why it is number 7 on this list. So, number 6, Becky Lynch becomes the man. Who would have thought in January of 2018 that at the end of the year, Becky Lynch would have been the hottest person in the WWE? Let's just think about that. The hottest person in the WWE come November. When you think about Becky Lynch, I remember when it seemed like she was getting stale. Yes, she is the first SmackDown Live Women's Champion, but it felt like she was getting stale. But when they turned her heel at SummerSlam, and people started complaining, no, we want to cheer Becky. We don't want to cheer Charlotte. You got to let it ride. And that's what made this story so great. She came out there, and then she started calling herself the man. And it just picked up. It caught on. And hopefully in 2019, I think, barring injury, we will see Becky Lynch taking on Ronda Rousey. And then part of her being a man is her Twitter wars. Her Twitter fingers are dangerous. She goes out there, she says what she has to say, and people are like, whoa. You don't want to get in a war with Becky Lynch on Twitter. I promise you that. So Becky Lynch becoming a man is number 6 of top 10 moments of 2018. Number 5. Number 5 staying right there with the women. And that is Charlotte Flair ending Asuka's streak, ladies and gentlemen. Match of the night. WrestleMania 34. Match of the night in New Orleans. A match that everybody just knew Asuka was going to win. Everybody just knew it because she had this undefeated streak. She won the Royal Rumble. There's no way the first woman to win the Royal Rumble is not going to win the belt. After all, the first time the title was on the line, the first time the number 1 contendership was on the line for the men, Yokozuna won the title in 93. But it was unpredictable, and it made sense. And a lot of people were upset, saying that Asuka was buried, even though she got a title shot almost immediately afterwards when she was, a couple months later, when she was having matches with Carmella, which she lost, and people still was complaining. And now at TLC a couple weeks ago, Asuka reigned supreme as she became the new SmackDown Live Women's Champion. But this moment right here was amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Just like I said, the match that Charlotte and Asuka put on, I've watched it multiple times already. I really hope this one wins Match of the Year or Slammy for Match of the Year. So let's move on. To number 4, and that is the big dog, Roman Reigns, conquering the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, at this year's SummerSlam, folks. What a match. Wasn't that long. Didn't have to be. We saw Roman. It was 4 years in the making? 3-4 years in the making. We saw Roman fall short at WrestleMania 34 against Lesnar. A match that everybody just knew Roman was going to win. But it didn't happen. It wasn't his night. Then we went to the Greatest Royal Rumble in the cage where Roman speared Brock through the cage, but the referee said Brock landed first because his body was on top of the cage, which was on top of the ground. So then again, Roman comes up short. But at SummerSlam, he finally got it done, and he pinned the Beast. So this was a moment for me personally. I was waiting for it all year long. I was tired of Brock Lesnar holding the WWE Universal Championship hostage. I was tired of the belt not being on TV every week. Unfortunately, Roman Reigns suffered with leukemia, and it came back aggressive. Well, erase that, I said aggressive, but it came back, and I just have to say, as I always do, my prayers are with Roman Reigns as he's fighting through this, because he will win, and he will prove that he's the big dog, and if he chooses, he will wrestle again. But my prayers go out to the big dog, Roman Reigns, but congratulations, this was the number 4th moment this year. So, moving on to number 3, Cody winning the NWA World Championship at All In, an event that he and the Young Bucks put together over a 10,000 seat arena filled with just all independent wrestling. Incredible. you can't just do that anywhere. So congratulations to Cody and the Bucks getting this, but most importantly, congratulations to Cody Rhodes, who became the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. And that night, he and his dad made the late, great Dusty Rhodes officially became the first ever father and son duo to wear that strap. And, you know, if you're on YouTube right now, you can see the graphic I made, found a picture where he's in tears. Obviously, his daddy passed away in 2015, and we saw Cody go into a different level. And it's just make you wonder, like, man, I just wish his father could see how great he is now. But he knew it was there. But to see him put all the pieces together. So, congratulations, Cody Rhodes, number 3 top moment of the year. Let's move on to number 2. For me, the number 2 moment was the phenomenal AJ Styles and his lengthy title reign. When a babyface holds the title for a long time, they can get stale. It can get you to a point where it's like, all right, man, is this dude ever gonna lose? Yeah, if you were watching, sure, you may have wanted to see him drop the title to Samoa Joe. You may have wanted to see him drop the title to Shinsuke Nakamura. But when AJ held on to it, it wasn't boring. I mean, we saw a quote come out this year that said Vince McMahon says he wished he would have signed him 10 years ago. That just goes to show you. Anytime you got Vinnie Mac saying something like that, it goes to show you how great AJ Styles is. And like I said, the main thing was he did not get stale. Shoot, when he lost the belt to Daniel Bryan, that was a shock. And it was like, man, I was kind of hoping he was going to go to WrestleMania. But, he didn't. So, congratulations, AJ Styles, the number 2 moment. And now, if you know me, then you should already know what the greatest moment of 2018 was. And that is the new Daniel Bryan becoming the WWE champion. This is a moment I have been waiting for. This was a moment that I waited since 2014. When I finally got DB as champion, I got one pay-per-view payoff, and then he was out. And then he would have to vacate the title. But oh, no. Now, that's not the case. Daniel Bryan is your WWE champion after beating AJ Styles on SmackDown the week before Survivor Series. So, it's the greatest moment of the year, folks. It was the greatest moment of the year. And it happened on SmackDown. How cool is that? So, shout out to Daniel Bryan reaccomplishing his dream. Everybody said, oh, he's done. He's not going to wrestle. Oh, no, sir. Daniel Bryan is back. And I wouldn't mind seeing him go into WrestleMania as WWE Champion and leave WrestleMania as WWE Champion. Well, folks, that is going to do it for 2018. It's been a pleasure here. Break it down with Brian H, man. I tell you, doing this show officially now, it's about 10, 11 months. Started in February. And I knew exactly that. I was like, all right, I want to do a podcast to keep me engaged with wrestling each and every week. And it gives me an opportunity to talk. And I definitely got to say shout out because it definitely happened with my co-host and my kid's godfather, the real Dwayne Allen. Him giving me his blessings, like, yeah, man, go for it, because we share the brand, so it's one of the things we do. We talk about it with each other. But it's a thing where we allow our creativity to just go, and that's what we've been doing since 2011. 2019, I can tell you this: get ready, because you saw Riding with the Wrealm in 2018. You saw us at BlurCon, so it's gonna be more stuff, more shirts, and keep an eye out for things, because it's only gonna get better. So shout out to all the supporters, everybody who's downloaded this podcast. Hope I've been great to you while you're on your drive to work or school, or on your drive, walking around the block. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who's commented or who's had a smart remark. I love it. Believe it or not, I can take the heat. I enjoy it. That's what wrestling fans do, man. We sit back, we go back and forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for 2019. Happy New Year, folks. Make sure that you stay safe. If you're out there, if you're listening to this as it premieres and you get ready for your New Year's party, make sure you stay safe, and I'll see you on the other side.